KATY FM 101.3, 103.9. Happy Friday. It's Chris Donovan hanging out with you now. I was lucky enough to talk with Gwen Stefani yesterday for a little while, talking about her new deluxe version of her Bouquet album and her performance at the AMAs. It's going to be happening this weekend, and this is what happened. Enjoy. Hello.
Hi, it's Gwen.
Hey, Gwen, how are you? My name's Chris. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for taking time out of your day to talk with us. Or me.
Well, my God, thanks for playing me on the radio. Hello.
My dream to play you on the radio. It's awesome. We're from KATY FM 101.3, 103.9 here in the Inland Empire, Temecula Valley, and High Desert. So we're neighboring to Anaheim.
Yes, I love you guys. It's like home for me, you know? It's like we're connected. We touch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we are one entity down here in Southern California.
Yes.
You have your new album out, the deluxe version just released. What was the inspiration behind the deluxe version, and why record everything again acoustically? And this is kind of a complicated question. When you originally released the album, did you know you were going to be doing this deluxe version?
Well, it's a good question. Let me see if I can remember the whole thing. Like I originally, this record has gone through a lot because I wrote the songs kind of more in like the pop world, and the writers that I was writing with, it was like kind of in that more of it's that kind of format, the people that I was working with.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was writing them, production wise, it was just feeling like I was trying to repeat myself too much, and I really wanted to go into a genreless like format. Like I wanted it to feel like live music. I didn't want it to feel like a style, you know what I'm saying? Or like I was trying to be in any of my own genres that I've been bounced through in my life. You know, I wanted it to feel reflective of just what the lyrics were saying. And so I ended up like going and working with a producer out of Nashville, not to be country, because this record has nothing to do with country. It just isn't. It's just, I wanted it to be just live musicians. And I knew a producer called Scott Hendricks that had worked with Blake. He's like a legend. I mean, he's had like over 100 radio hits. He's one of the most eccentric, like incredibly talented, creative people I've ever met. And I didn't even think he would ever work with me because us on paper just doesn't add up to it. It's just weird. You know what I mean? But I had sent him a couple songs like shyly. And because I know him really well through Blake, and he's like, I can't stop listening to this. And I said, well, would you ever work with me? Would you ever do my record? And he was like, I would be honored. And I was like, what? So I start sending him all my songs, and we end up making like this plan, and he gets the musicians together, and I know exactly what I want it to sound like. It's really like reflective of like the stuff I grew up listening to, you know, in the 70s, like sort of that I guess they call it like a yacht rock, like classic rock, you know, like just nothing, like there's no genre. And so we end up cutting the whole album live in 2 days with these incredible musicians. And when we did it, I had done acoustic versions of the songs just so that I could take away production and make it just be the purest sense of what the song was saying. And those versions were actually quite delicious, just being just acoustic, you know what I'm saying? So after we had done like the live versions, it was like, wow, maybe we should just even break it down more and give it like that undone feeling. And so we ended up doing the deluxe version. So it was a good question because there was a whole process that went to this. Yeah. And sometimes like songs are so weird because they can be dressed up in any way. Like it's always about what is the lyric and what is the melody, and then what do you want to do to make that, you know,
the feeling behind
how do you want to wrap it up? And so yeah, that's interesting. That's a good question.
Yeah, no, we I love the album. I listened to the album. We're playing "Swallow My Tears," one of my favorite songs. What's your favorite song on the album, and did it change when you re-recorded everything acoustically?
I think what happens is like that's a really good question too. God, you're smart. I feel like every time I write like a new song, it will be like my favorite song. So like the first song I ever wrote on the record was oh my gosh, what was it? Purple Irises. And that was kind of like the song that led me to the whole album. Like once I had finally written that song, I was like, okay, I know. It's like when you're cooking and you're like, you know, you're done. You're like, okay, like it's ready. Like I'm going to serve it. And so I knew that was like the path I was on. And then I started in with another kind of group of people. And the first song we wrote together was Empty Vase. And then it kind of like it was like, oh my gosh, it's starting to reveal itself. It's like, it's so interesting making an album because it's just a series of songs that all of a sudden, it's done when it's done. And the interesting, really fun thing that happened was when we were in the studio the first day. I told you we recorded it in 2 days.
Yeah.
Well, I had a song called Reminders, and it was the first song that I wrote when I first started like on the journey to write a record. And it was like I had just put it in the trash. I didn't even think about it again. And I'm sitting there going, man, that song, there's something to that song. And it was like we were literally cutting the record. And I said to Scott, I gave it to him that night, and I said, I love this song. It still needs a bridge. And Blake was supposed to help me write a bridge, but he never did. And I'm going to try to write one tonight in the hotel room. And I go, if I can get it done, can we cut it tomorrow? And so I went in and I stayed up all night, and it was like a thunderstorm, and I wrote the bridge. And I wrote it like, cause there was I don't play really a guitar or anything. I just wrote it into my computer on air. And like, I came back in, I sang it to the guitar player or keyboard player, and we just put some chords under it and we cut that song. And I think that is my favorite acoustic version of the record, because that song is just, I love the song so much, and it almost didn't make the record. So there's just something special about how it all got got
Yeah.
on there.
That was like the runt of the litter almost.
Yeah, exactly.
How was it working with Phineas?
Oh my gosh, that was amazing because I was so nervous, and
Were you?
yeah, because I don't. It's like it's nerve-wracking to meet someone new, and
Hmm.
then he's like, they're so talented and whatever, like hot and relevant. And I just walked in, and I remember you just walk in and you're just like, hi, I'm me, you're you, let's get
I'm
intimate
sure
here.
he was
You know
nervous
what I mean?
too, probably.
I don't think with my brother back in the day with No Doubt was just on the piano. We just sit next to each other and write. And that's kind of what the session was. It's like I had been going through whatever I'd been going through that day, and I just kind of shared it with him. Like, because it's always like you're telling somebody that you don't know your intimate like moments. You know what I mean? Like to try to
Yeah.
write a song, and it's just you. I had like maybe a 3 or 4 hour window before I had to get home, and we just sat next to each other on the piano, and that song just, it came out. It was very quick, probably 10 minutes. And I'm start bawling, right? I'm like sitting next to Phineas crying. It's so embarrassing. And then I went in and cut like a little demo, and it went into my phone, and I never looked at the song again for like 3 years. And I was sitting in the gym, and I'd been kind of going through the same thing over again. And I was texting somebody, and I was like, I'm texting the lyrics of the song I'd written. And I was like, I gotta find that song. And I went back and found it. I sent it to Scott Hendricks like that minute. I was like, I gotta cut this song. Can you get me a session? And literally within 2 weeks, we went in and cut it and
Oh,
ended up getting to put it out on the Deluxe. So thank you, Phineas, if you're listening. I mean, honestly, like what a beautiful song that just, it's interesting because sometimes you don't know it in the moment, like
yeah.
how relevant it's going to be. Like that song's more relevant now in my life than it was when I wrote it. So
And you stripped down back to how you were when you originally started with your brother, just sitting at the piano and playing,
yeah,
kind of like bringing it back full circle.
it is, because I think it's interesting because when you hear like chords on a piano, it's different than when you hear on a guitar. Like it brings out different emotions, and so the piano is just, it's a different, like, I don't know, thing. Brought out a different thing, but he's super talented. I would for 100% want to write another song with him. He's so good.
I can't wait for that. You are scheduled to perform at the AMAs on the 26th of this month to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Lamb. What can we expect, and will there be any surprises like Phineas? Phineas?
Oh, well, they told me I'm not allowed to talk about what I'm doing, so I'm
Oh,
keeping it under the wraps.
I
I guess
figured.
they're trying to like do that like tease thing so everyone will watch. But yeah, it never gets old being able to be on TV, be on the radio, have new music. It's just such a blessing. And I was in rehearsals yesterday and got to see like the fitting, and like I love that part of it. Like it's amazing to have the song and then to be able to celebrate the song with all the visuals and um having a choreographer like make like a choreography out of like the feeling of whatever those lyrics are in the song. And So yeah, it's going to be a good show, and super looking forward to doing it and going into rehearsals again today. And so yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm so
I'm
lucky.
I'm super excited to see it. And I have one quick question. I know we're running late. If your album bouquet had a scent, what would it smell like?
Oh my gosh, that's a really very good. I think it would smell like a peony flower,
Oh,
or peony flower if you want to call it I call it peony. Some people call it peony.
great answer. I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting with that one right there, but I didn't know what kind of answer I'd get. But Gwen, thank you so much for taking time with us today. You're amazing. We're going to watch you on the AMAs, and we're going to continue to support you all the way.
You're my favorite. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Take care.
Take
All
care.
right. Have
Bye.
a good one. Bye.
Nothing takes me back to my childhood like ripping open a cool, icy Fun Pop on a hot summer day. Whether you're hanging by the pool, having